Probably shouldn't open the video like that. That might alienate a few of you. Before we get started, do you want to hear an absolutely disgusting secret about men that they don't want you to know? Good, I really didn't want to tell any of the ladies in the audience about Tip-Touching Tuesdays. Today, in case you couldn't tell by my really clever and really original intro, we're going to be talking about everyone's favorite advice giver. I think he gives advice. Montaine. Now, who is Montaine for someone who isn't chronically online like me? Well, Montaine is a TikToker who likes to share our dirty little secrets. Now, by our, I mean his, because honestly, he's the only one saying this nonsense. As if we don't do it enough, all he really does is tarnish the good name of men. The very little resemblance of good we have left after years of treachery, but still, he's tarnishing what little we have. He's probably just doing this to bait someone into talking about him, because, as we all know on the internet, good attention is still that's not the fucking saying. Bad attention is still attention, and attention is the best thing you can get on the internet. Say really trashy things about dudes on the internet to get people outraged, you know? Like me. But when he says things like this...
If you're questioning for a second if a guy likes you, right, even though he keeps saying it, you don't trust the words, and the actions are he's really not committing, and you're like, yeah, men just don't commit. They do. You want any proof that men commit to things that they like? When men are like 10 years old, 11 years old, they find a soap, a shampoo, a deodorant, a toothpaste, everything that they've had since they're a child, a pair of underwear, a brand of shirts, a brand of socks, and they wear it or they use it for the rest of their lives. Even when they get enough money to upgrade, they stay loyal to the things that they have grown up using. So if you think that he does not understand what commitment means, you're out of your mind. He totally does, and if he's not committing, and you're in a place where he says he likes you, he's not committing, it means he does not like you.
Comparing brand loyalty to a relationship is beyond bonkers, right? I'm not the minority here in thinking that, right? What he just said was clinically crazy. Like, legitimately, like, we should lock this man up into the loony bin real quick. Get him in there! That's my impression of insane asylum staffs. I know that someone's probably gonna need to hear this, so I'm just gonna get out of the way. Your partner is not an object. They're a person. And comparing them to your favorite brand of soap is really not equal at all. And if your partner compares you to a fucking brand of soap, you should dump them so they can make TikTok videos about how bad, about how women just don't get it. They just don't get it. They don't get the guy mindset. They just don't. All right? There's no overlapping emotions when it comes to guys or women. It might as well be a whole different species. We're not all people. That would be absurd to think. It's really funny to me, like watching him in general, because he'll say something like this and then immediately follow it up with a post like this.
Someone please tell me, would it be so difficult in 2024, instead of just a constant pattern of feeling lonely, feeling like you need companionship, because everyone around you has a companion, downloading a dating app, and going out more often than you would like, and then meeting people on a dating app, and then instead of just meeting people on a dating app, you also feel like people you're matching with not really your type of people, and also recommending people, and you realize dating apps are all business, and the whole business is keeping you using them, and then you think they're conspiring against you, not find matches, and then let's say you even find a match in the first place, and they're a bad texter, or something goes wrong there, let's say you even make it through texting them, you go on a couple dates, you even go on a couple dates is good, but then somehow fizzles out due to bad texting, responsiveness, busyness, whatever it is, and even most times, the best case scenario is, what, a talking stage, a situationship, turns to be one to talk about, at the end of the day, it's just being single. Can someone tell me why in 2024, I can't just go out and pretend to look lost and just fall in love? Can I do that? Can I just walk to the grocery store and be picking out frozen broccoli and be like, the love of my life? Yeah.
He begins to complain that, like, it's so hard to find someone. It's so hard, you know? You just want to stumble into the grocery market, walk down the broccoli aisle, and find the love of your life. It should be that simple. Let's just give the hypothetical that this man, he finds his broccoli goddess, you know? He's walking down the frozen produce, maybe he's in the fresh produce aisle. Who am I to assume that's frozen? This man looks like he has some taste. He's not gonna pick up some frozen broccoli bimbo. He's gonna pick up a fresh-picked broccoli goddess. Oh, I just want to meet the love of my life buying broccoli. Is it so hard for a boy like me to find love? I think so, yeah. He talks about, like, oh, the bad texting or conversations just fizzle out. Yeah, because you're probably not putting in the work. Or you're just not that interesting of a person when your opinions on women are the same as picking out soap from the grocery store. You know, why'd you get soap from the grocery store? What the fuck? I'm gonna make an assumption here. If you have a couple of bad Tinder texts, or just in general a couple of bad dates, and then immediately go onto TikTok and vent about how bad the dating sites are and how difficult it is for you to find love, and please just, it's so hard for a pretty boy like me in the city. It comes off a bit pathetic, right? Am I crazy for saying that? Am I? Please, seriously, if I'm crazy, let me know. I don't want to come off as crazy. I want to come off as a completely sane individual. If I come off as crazy, you better let me know. Do you hear me? You let me know if I come off as crazy. Montaine, odds are, even if you picked up that broccoli goddess, you wouldn't be able to maintain a conversation. You'd probably say something fucking stupid and completely fumble your chances with her. Oh, but then your schedules don't line up, and it's a problem, you know? Hey, I'm sorry. I know I promised a date. But like my grandma, she's in the hospital, and I gotta go visit her, or else it'll go wrong. So no head? Are you that impatient? Him as a whole is probably just not worth committing to, and that's why he's having a lot of trouble communicating with women, because he probably gets to a point where he just comes off as like annoying and arrogant and misogynistic. I'd dump this guy, honestly, dude. If I had tits and a vagina, I would date this guy just to dump him. So, we'll dive into another video.
Man in the entire world will admit this to you if you ask him, but he always has a ranking for the women in his life.
Inherently, when you hear that, I think like, oh yeah, putting like your mom or your grandma above your girlfriend. I don't think that's that unusual for a dude to do. Considering I came out of one of the vaginas and my mom came out of the other vagina, I think there's a bit of understanding there. But what he really means is Clarence ranks. Clarence.
Part of that ranking comes a certain clearance level. For example, if it's early on and he really likes you, you start up here, let's call it level 8 clearance. If you do something big that hurts his feelings, and he'll never admit that it hurt his feelings, but it did. This is something like he plans a date and you bail, or he tried to be emotionally vulnerable and you didn't receive it well, or he wants to be exclusive with you and he just watched you post a thirst trap on IG and he got his own feelings hurt. Anything like that, and again, he'll never admit, but he 100% is dropping your clearance down.
What he's talking about is clearance rankings, as if you were like a government official. What the fuck? I wrote this a while ago, and I'm just kind of now remembering the stuff I like watched about him. What the fuck? This dude's insane. Yeah, he's not talking about who wins like a free-for-all brawl between like your mom, your grandma, and your girlfriend. He's talking more like government clearance ratings. Like if you could enter like Area 51 or not. That's what he's talking about. Now, don't forget that, ladies. All the hot studs that you've been meeting, they operate like the US government. You better have the right clearance if you want to know our emotions. Now get back in the kitchen. This is like a horrible video. This is bad. And he mentions like the idea that like if you do something to upset him, he's not going to talk about it. He's not going to do the healthy thing and be like, hey, look, what you said the other night hurt. And, you know, we should discuss it. We should be adults about it. You know, be reasonable. No, he says you're just going to lose some clearance. And his examples of hurtful things that women could do are bailing on dates and making thirst traps to post. That is such a close-minded view of, like, women in general. Maybe you're having problems in your relationships because you just can't get this weird fucking voice out of your head, you know? Montaine has like a little devil on his shoulder who's like, come on, you know you want to. You know you want to call her a dumb whore. Isn't that right, Montaine? Do it, Montaine. You know she's a dumb whore. She made a thirst trap. Also is that like he's stopping you before you can make a regrettable decision that will hurt your man. You want to know what like would really hurt? Is if you like kicked me in the dick. Making a thirst trap is fucking who gives a shit. Whatever. Your body, your choice. It didn't take long for him to inevitably change up his style, you know, throw a little curveball, throw a little surprise my way. And then he brought in a girl.
I'm actually here with a real live woman today. Say hi.
A real girl? I didn't know he could do that. He probably didn't meet her on fucking Tinder because he can't text for shit.
According to an article that I read this week, and this is 100% true because I read it somewhere, 50% of women, I'm not joking, 50% of women have a backup boyfriend available when they're in a relationship.
He said he read an article that 50% of women have a backup boyfriend in mind when dating, like, their current boyfriend. Now, does he link the article in his comments? Fuck if I know. He certainly didn't pin the comment, and I'm not scrolling through all this obnoxious incel shit to fucking find out. I don't necessarily know if it's true. He didn't source an article, which instantly deproves a lot of his, like, anything. But is it that absurd to think about that maybe in the first few weeks of a relationship, the other person was like, well, if this goes south, I might Might go hang out with that fella. I don't think so. Because you just met. But if not a she, I shouldn't say she. If your partner is still thinking that way, like months into the relationship, it's probably time to yourself move on. And I feel like Montaigne's the kind of guy to have a few extra backup baddies. I shouldn't say baddies. That's so demeaning. I'm sorry, women. I'm sorry, all women. I'm sorry for his actions. I'm sorry for my actions. I'm sorry for men's actions. I won't call women baddies again. So these bitches that he's probably like fucking, maybe he's a good fuck, you know, maybe that's all he's really good for. Emotional support, probably none of that. Maybe he's good for a good fuck. I don't know. Montaine, if you want to fuck me, I'm all game, you know. I'm all about the scientific discovery. He's taking advantage of a young, impressionable audience who will listen to what he says and not really bat an eye because he has a lot of followers. Why would someone who has this many followers lie to me? I'm just a dumb kid. He's teaching them that, like, oh, this is all normal dude stuff, under the pretense that women don't understand how men work. Not only is he teaching negative traits, he's also teaching that women don't understand you. They'll never understand you. They just don't get it. They're too dumb to understand. They need to be taught. They need to be mansplained. That's your job as the boy, you know? And make sure she has enough clearance before showing her your dick, I guess. That should be the takeaway of this video. This guy's a piece of shit. Fuck him. Bye!